When you write papers, you're going to be gathering material from research that other people have done, and you're going to be bringing that material together and compiling it in your own way in an original paper written by you. But every semester I find that there are students who have trouble with this, and what I want to do here is show you some of the common mistakes that students make. And so what we have on the screen right now is page 1 of a student paper that was submitted to Turnitin. And a lot of times you'll be asked to submit your papers to Turnitin, and this is what it looks like when we, the professors, look at your papers, and I think it's good for students to get to see this. You can see it yourself, by the way. When you submit your paper, you can go to this tab on the top left that says Originality, and I think students probably have it in that same location, but I'm not sure. And if you click on Originality, which I have done as the professor, Turnitin will tell you how much of your paper is original and how much is not. And it's going to be in a number over here. This one says that it's 67% similar, meaning that, in fact, very little of this paper is original, that only 33% is original and 67% is not. And that sets off an alarm bell right away, because it means that the student didn't write the paper in his or her own words. So what do I see? And again, you'll see this too. So if you would use Turnitin, or if you're asked to, you can figure this out before the professor sees it. So what Turnitin does is it highlights in a particular color everything that comes from an author other than the student. So this page alone has lavender and pink and light blue and olive green and sort of peach. And that means that there are 5 different authors who have written the material on this paper, and it lists them over here on the right-hand side. So the purple, if I want to know where it comes from, I would look and I would say, that must be maybe this from Wild Coast, and the pink comes from this source over here, and this blue comes from this source over here. But most importantly, what I see is that the entire page is in color, and that tells me that the student didn't write anything on this page herself. Everything on this page was written by somebody else. And the student might have done a really good job of finding all these sources that have really good information for the paper that she was assigned. And then she found maybe, really good sections within each of these sources that's relevant to the paper she was assigned. And she then copied word for word from the source what they had to say about the topic, and she strung it together into a page worth of material. Again, nothing written by her. But she was really careful to tell the professor and to cite where did she find this material. So if you notice, after each sentence, there is a careful citation that tells us, and in fact it matches, it is Wild Coast. And so this student, this page with all this color is plagiarized. Everything on this page is copied from someone else, and that's what plagiarism is. But this student is telling me where she found the material. There's another citation, there's another citation, there's another one. So she's really, really good at providing the citations. And when I graded this paper, I said to myself, this student did not intend to plagiarize, because a student who intends to plagiarize never provides all these careful citations. But it is plagiarism nonetheless. And the important thing for you to know as a student is you never want to do this, because this is grounds for an F on the paper, an automatic F in the class, and being reported to the Dean of Students, where they'll create a file for you, so that if you ever do this again and you're reported, there'll be evidence of the history that you've done it. So you don't ever want that to happen to you. Therefore, you want to be really careful that if you use someone else's words, you put those words in quotes, because then at least it's legal, and you have said these words were written word for word by someone else, and I'm telling you this by using quotation marks at the beginning and the end of every quote. But there's another problem. Do you think this paper would be okay if it was all in quotes? And the answer is no, because if this page was all quotes, then the same problem would exist if the student hadn't written anything herself. Now, it wouldn't be plagiarized, but it wouldn't be original. And so we're going to look at another paper now in which a student used quotation marks, but the paper still is problematic.